Well, I went to the feed store and I bought 2 bales of grass hay and a bale of alfalfa hay. Why? Well, because these guys need bedding and, they're going to eat it. That's just what poultry do. They eat everything. And straw often has different pesticides and herbicides in it because it's considered a companion animal. In other words, it's used for horses. So by putting alfalfa and straw, or alfalfa and grass hay in here, it gives them something to kick around. It breaks down into small fragments and pieces, and then they eat it. See, here's some nice alfalfa leaf, and I try to put it down here because what happens is I open this up and everybody kind of starts slowly migrating into the chick shed to go to bed. And they'll come munch on that before they go to bed, and that'll get cleaned up. So now, sorry about the lawnmower. So now I've got their flooring here bedded down with this hay everywhere. Looks great, smells lovely, and they'll nest in this and they'll sit there and they'll munch on this all night. They'll eat on this all night long. Huh. I know. So basically, because these birds are going to get processed next Friday and they're going to go to freezer camp, what I do in this last week is I make sure that I'm giving them all kinds of greens. And this is part of that little program. So you can look at the turkey here. She just went poo and everything's green. I like seeing that. And these guys will just lay around and eat and then digest. And these guys are eating apples. I know. You're watching. But I throw them apples because the apples fall off of the apple tree. And they eat those up. They like them. It's really good for them. Gives them an activity, They'll sit there. They'll run around and fight over apples sometimes. It's hilarious. But, yeah, we're going to process birds next Friday. So they've got about 8 days until freezer camp. And the big male birds here and that big white male bird here, those two are females, will go to freezer camp. I think they're about ready. I'll evaluate them next week. Sadly, I've got some lavender hens there that turned out to be a rooster. The one on the right here is a rooster, and I've got a second one. So they'll get to go to freezer camp. And these girls will get to stay for a little longer so that they will grow up. And that boy, Turkey, he's a little bit younger, so he needs some more time as well. This is my turkey creep feeder, which is nice and tall so only turkeys can reach it. And it's got some grower extra protein for them. Yeah, so the birds look great. And I took some of that hay, put back here in this area. They like to bed down back here. It's nice and cool in the hot days because the sun comes this way, so this is nice and shady. And I usually hit it with the hose so it gets a little bit moist. And you can see they got all kinds of cover back here. It's really great behind the greenhouse. But I put them some hay back here, so that gives them something to munch on as well. I know, it's a crazy little farm. Oh, look at the greenhouse, man. It's just popping. It's full of everything in there. Yeah, looks good. So the garden is amazing. This catnip is, 5 feet again. So anyway, so I'll keep giving them a little bit of, what I'll do now is that I've been using some pine shavings for the bedding, and I switched over to hay. I think I'm going to stay with hay permanently. And it's cleaner. It's harder to clean out of the shed because their strands kind of get meshed together, and it's really hard to pick it up as a mat, but I go in there and strip it out every 2 or 3 days because these guys have big poo. So I try to make sure that it gets cleaned out all the time for them. Keep it clean. But this is nice to have some nice grass hay everywhere, and you can see they just really enjoy that kind of bedding, laying around. It gives them something to do. Huh, guys? Yeah, well, we're getting pretty plump there. Okay. And then these broilers, these big white birds, those are meat birds, they eat, lay around. And what I do every morning is I just throw some grain down on the floor for them, and they'll just lay there and eat. They don't get up and move. That's just the nature of them. But the rest of them, they go to work. And then what my favorite thing is this is a big grape here that I planted, gosh, more than 20 years ago. And it runs down that end of the property and down that end of the property and back around. And God knows where it goes that way in the neighbor's yard. But every day I come over here and pull some grape leaves off and feed them grape leaves. These guys just love grape leaves. They get them for breakfast, they get them for lunch, they get them before they go to bed. They fight over them. It's a great food source. It's free. And when they get older, they learn to stand on it, and like she's going to do here. You stand on it and eat it like a potato chip. A little bit at a time. But I like this kind of grazing right before they go to bed because they fill their crops up before they go to bed. And then they've got a lot of feed in them, that they can really quickly digest, not have to get up, move around all night. Kind of bummed out that I got 5 lavender replacement hens here and 2 of them are roosters. I mean, the odds of that are just so incredible. These are not straight run birds. Somebody sexed these and didn't do it right. Anyway, I try to leave the boys until they start crowing just to give them some quality of life. But I can't have roosters here and nobody wants them. That's my leaf. I think the evenings like this and the birds kind of relax a little bit and they become more active right before they go to bed. That's always really nice. See, finding things to get into, apples to fight over. He's going to take his apple and go away. They fight over them like kids in soccer balls. It's hilarious. Oop, there he goes. Go get him. Go get him. You going? All right, guys.